Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Tech Ranger here, coming at you with something a little different than normal today. I'm going to be giving you a breakdown and video display and just kind of a tutorial of what I kind of do as a tournament prep. Um, this one is going to focus primarily on field work. And in this particular video, it's mainly going to be forehands and approach shots. I'm not going to be doing any sort of driving or putter throwing. So this is mainly going to be forehand up to about 250 and approach shots. So all that being said, we'll get into this in a minute here, but I just wanted to mention, please, if you enjoy this content in any way, shape, or form, please give it a like, and if it's something you want to see more of, please subscribe. I want to try to put out the content that you guys want to see, because I know that myself, as an amateur player, below 900 rated, I spend a lot of time on YouTube, scouring videos and seeing what's out there to try to improve my game. And what I don't see out there a lot is a lot of things for players as myself to improve my game from players like myself. It's all videos from players that are very, very good. And unfortunately, I cannot necessarily replicate what they can do. I need to work to that. And that's where I thought this content from myself might be something that people might want to see, perhaps, I hope. So if it is something you want to see, please let me know in the comments below. Anything else that you think another amateur might want to see. So, all that being said, let's get right into this video. What do you guys say? Okay, folks, so first we're going to start off here. This is a field across from my house, and I'm working primarily here on just my forehands. I'm not necessarily worried about, no, that was really bad when I really turned that one over, but I'm not really necessarily worried about the flight. I'm worried about my release angle and my steps. And if you notice, I'm throwing really close to the side of this. This was kind of by design, because a lot of times with my form, what I do is I don't actually follow through that right foot. And if you notice right there how I'm kind of trying to make it so I have to step off of it and really kind of focus on planting that foot down. It reminds me a lot of as a baseball player, you kind of follow through that back after your pitch. You notice there I step down. I'm really trying to focus on that. I am turning these over a little bit, and it is something that I do need to work on, and I understand that. That is my miss as I roll my wrist. But I know how to fix that. I wasn't necessarily focusing on that right now. I'm more focusing on that back foot. And I think that's the key to doing field work, is focusing on one thing. As an amateur, we have a lot of flaws. And a lot of what we need to do is fix one thing at a time before you move on to next. Because if you try to fix all the things at once, it's just never going to work out. You got to have small victories is I think the key. So a lot of these last two are Cloudbreaker and a PD2, but the first few were Firebirds, and I kind of really threw them bad. I am very much a primary forehand player, so it's really kind of frustrating to turn those over. But like I said, I know how to fix that, and I typically don't do that. I'm really just focusing on that back foot follow through, and there we go. This is another angle, doing the same sort of thing with my forehand. You're not going to see the full flight of the disc on these throws, but here I wanted to look at what my wrist is doing, as I follow through. Am I turning it over? So it's really important when you do field work is to break down your form and see what you're doing wrong. Obviously, I do a lot of things wrong. That's why I'm only an 840 rated player. But you need to start somewhere. Like that when I released high. And if you notice, I cut my hand underneath. That's a habit I have from years of playing other ball sports. I have slowed it down, and I do not release it like that. That is my follow through. I kind of cup it underneath. I've always done that, throwing a football, baseball, anything. It's just a mechanic that I have, and I can kind of throw both a football and a baseball relatively well. So I kind of use that same logic throwing a disc. So it is important. These clips were primarily out there to show you when you're doing your field work, don't necessarily worry about where the disc is landing. worry about your release points or your footing or your follow through or whether or not you're standing upright or that when I release it too high. Like, why am I doing that? How can I correct that? Finding those points where you see the flaw. And it's hard to see a flaw when you're actually just playing, but you see a flaw when you watch a recording. So I think that's actually a really important takeaway as an amateur player is to find these things that you don't do so well and pinpointing that one like that when I released it high as well. Now next time, this is my first time ever filming myself, so it's kind of awkward. I want to actually get a better zoom out and a better display. Now I started kind of showing you what the disc was. Now I'm gonna throw this one backhand. I know my backhand is very flawed. Like all of us amateurs, we all have flaws. I know exactly what my flaw is. However, I do not know how to correct it while I'm doing it. I've noticed my flaw is I stand it. This is my MD5. I just always throw this forehand. I turned this one over. It ended up working out. It's an MD5, so you know it's gonna come back. Okay, so now I'm throwing with a tailwind. The first two videos were into a pretty decent headwind. Now these are tailwind throws. But once again, I'm not necessarily worrying about where the disc is ending up or the flight of it. I'm more worried about focusing this particular aspect of this field work on my release point and my footing. These are mostly understable discs, and what I do, and I like I said, I know what my flaw is, and my flaw is I stand up. And I don't know why I do it. I don't know if it's from throwing a football or other mechanical sports like that. But for some reason, I tend to come out of it and stand upright and then roll it over. So I wanted to throw a bunch of understable discs because I figured if I stand up, it'll be much more obvious because it's going to just turn over. So not a trick to trying to find your problems and pinpoint your problems is not throw discs that will correct the problem, but emphasize what the problem is. A couple of these actually ended up turning out pretty decent. This one kind of really disappointed me because I've never really thrown this bad, but I just stood up, and I swear my head was 2 feet behind my hips. But that's the nice thing. I know I do it, but sometimes it's nice to really see it happen, so you can be like, "Holy cow! I don't want to be that guy." You want to fix it. These two. This is my Sapphire. That one I actually crushed that thing into that guy's backyard. I mean, I threw the thing pretty far. Came out really nice. I actually stayed down on it, so it's nice seeing when you do it right as well as when you do it bad. Leopard 3, spoiler alert, did the exact same thing. Kind of stayed down on it. See how I kept that left shoulder down, which then keeps my body upright. At least that's how I look at it. Whether or not that is correct or not, I don't really necessarily know. Now I'm throwing some approach shots, trying to land them inside of that baseball cage over there, and that one just came out bad. Oh, and by the way, the last ones I did, those mid-ranges, they all were about from 250 to 280 feet. So distance-wise, I like it. Release angle, not so good. This one, just kind of, my first two just didn't come out right. You know the feeling when you throw a disc and it just doesn't feel right. It just comes off, your mechanics are wrong, it just doesn't feel right. And that was my first one that kind of felt okay and still way too high nose up. And that's frustrating because these are my Firebirds and Fireballs. Like, I throw these things pretty good. And this is one where I actually kind of noticed I figured it out. I was setting up wrong. I was actually pointing towards the cage, but trying to throw it towards the corner of the building. You kind of got to do both. I was kind of fighting myself. So here now I'm calibrated, for lack of a better word. So I think that's really important to do, especially when you're trying to figure out approach shots, is to figure out that calibration. Here I absolutely figured it out, and it felt good. I mean, it felt okay. It was nose up, but like I said, I'm not worried about where they're ending up as much as how they feel release point wise. And this was the one that actually felt the best. I kept my form. I kept down. I did the things I worked on in the first drill. So that actually was nice to see that actually happen. And here's just a video of it showing that they all kind of land in the vicinity that I wanted them to. They didn't necessarily look pretty, but they all ended up in that general area. Okay, so that was a real quick breakdown of what I kind of do in my field work. I hope you got the emphasis I was trying to convey in those videos is that I was looking at my form. I wasn't worried about where the disc was going to end up. I was worried about looking at my form. Obviously, I have a lot of flaws, but it's finding those flaws and seeing what they are. So the next time you go out, I can really try to pinpoint those flaws. I've never recorded myself and put it on YouTube. I've recorded myself, from time to time to look at it, and I think it really helps. And I think doing this video actually helped me a lot because anyone who knows how to teach something to someone, saying the words out loud help. It reiterates what you're actually trying to do. So this actually helped me a lot doing this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know that I'm not the best at this yet, and I will get good at it. I will get better at it the more of them I do. So any of your feedback is amazing. So please, if you like, even if you don't like it, I'd like to hear from you. You learn more from your mistakes. Hence, going on doing the field work and seeing your mistakes. I'm a firm believer in you learn more from your failures. That you should aim to fail, because if you're not aiming to fail, you're not trying what's beyond your current potential. So aiming to fail is not a bad thing. Um, so I hope you enjoyed these. Please leave me some comments. It all helps. If you like this content, give it the good old thumbaroo. And if you'd like to see more, subscribe. I want to give you guys what you guys want to see, and I don't see anything out here that is targeted for an amateur by an amateur. And maybe it's a niche. And even if it's not, I'm not trying to do anything crazy with this. I just want to help people find content that will help them grow as players. So hopefully you enjoy it. As always, keep being awesome.